Hi there. In today's video, we're going to convert existing documents into sources, which is one way earlier materials can feed into a course foundation. All of the written assets that you have created can be converted as sources and used on the left side menu. For example, if we go into the studio area, you will find that there is a timeline that was created here as an asset. What we can do with that timeline now is we can go to the ellipsis and we can convert the asset to a source. Once we convert it, it will then appear in our list of sources, and you can convert any of the written documents to a source. You will not be able to convert the video overview, you will not be able to convert the audio overview, but you can take any document and you can move it over as a source. Another way to work with the sources is to go to the ellipsis and to convert all the notes to a source. And so basically, if we click on this element, what you'll see is that all of the notes will be placed in one document, and the one document will then be part of the sources. And of course, just as you would any other source, you can deselect all the other sources, you can take this one source, and you can begin to create other assets. For example, one of the easiest assets to create from all the sources would be a mind map. We can click on Create Mind Map and another mind map will be generated. However, this mind map will be based on the multiple source documents that we created and place inside of our sources. And we can click on that new mind map and you'll see a different mind map than the first one that was created. At one point, we believed without question that a good online course would carry itself once it was built. That belief always depended on a missing condition, repeated exposure to the same defined audience with signals coming back. A course sitting quiet cannot produce awareness signals, and it cannot produce topic interest signals either. A product line cannot grow off guesses, because guesses do not show a pattern we can verify. What we know now is simple. The end-of-year goal of stacking courses into a real line only holds when that ongoing promotion loop stays alive. That loop is the only place the market tells the truth in a way we can observe. People not knowing the course exists shows up as silence that never breaks, and silence means the loop is not running. A course can be finished and still be unknown, because completion does not equal repeated exposure to the same defined audience. Word of mouth and random social posts do not count as a loop when they are not repeated, and they do not return signals we can use. A poll, an email send, or a paid placement only matters here as proof that awareness can be measured again and again, not as a tactic to copy. What we learned is that I posted it once produces no reliable awareness signal, which means the loop fails. That failure blocks the end-of-year plan to build more offers off what we already know how to solve. Keeping promotion going is not about energy or hustle. It is about keeping the loop from breaking. The moment promotion stops, repeated exposure stops, and the signals stop too. A course fading into the background is not a vibe problem. It is an observable drop in touch points with the same defined audience. What we know now is that a product line needs continuity, because continuity is what makes patterns visible across months. When we pause for long stretches, we lose comparability between cycles, and we cannot tell if awareness changed or if interest changed. That gap makes our next build a guess instead of a decision grounded in signals. Promotions used to discover popular topics only work when each cycle returns clean signals about topic interest. A discount or special deal is not magic by itself, because without repeated exposure to the same defined audience, any spike or dip cannot be trusted as information. What we learned is that topic popularity has to show up more than once under similar conditions, or it is noise. A set time window or a sign-up threshold matters only because it defines a cycle that can be repeated and compared. When those cycles are inconsistent, interest signals get muddy, and we start adding lessons or modules based on assumptions. That pattern breaks the loop and slows down the end-of-year goal of building multiple products from proven problem-solving work. Knowing who we are trying to reach is not branding talk for us. It is the boundary that keeps the same defined audience actually the same. When the audience definition shifts every time we talk about the course, repeated exposure becomes scattered exposure. Scattered exposure produces mixed signals that cannot tell us whether awareness is low or whether interest is mismatched. What we know now is that our problem-solving skills translate best when the people hearing about the course share the same core need we built for. When that definition stays stable across cycles, awareness signals become readable and topic interest signals become comparable. When it does not stay stable, the loop fails even if promotion activity looks busy. Planning a strategy matters only as far as it protects repetition and signal capture inside the loop. A plan that changes weekly without a reason breaks comparability between cycles, and comparability is how we see what is working without guessing. What we learned in business and in corporate life is that untracked changes create fake conclusions because you never know what caused what. Trade-offs have to be explicit in this plan because every change in message or offer changes what signal you are collecting. What we know now is that our end-of-year product line goal depends on decisions made from stable cycles, not from scattered experiments. When strategy planning does not preserve repetition with the same defined audience, the loop becomes random motion. Putting the plan into action only counts when action produces observable signals we can use in the next cycle. Activity without signals is performance, because nothing comes back that changes what gets promoted next or what gets added next. What we learned is that implementation has to include a way to see awareness levels and topic pull in plain numbers or plain outcomes, not feelings. Rework shows up when we keep launching, but still cannot say who knows about the course today versus last month. What we know now is that execution has to feed decision-making, because decision-making is how problem-solving becomes a product line instead of one lonely course. When action does not close the loop with usable signals, the loop fails even if effort stays high. Our proven problem-solving skill only scales into products when symptoms get translated into causes using real evidence from those promotion cycles. Low signups can mean low awareness or low interest or wrong audience definition, but only loop signals separate those causes cleanly over time. What we learned is that guessing at root cause leads to patching, like rewriting lessons or adding bonuses without knowing what problem exists. A durable fix requires seeing which part of the loop broke, repeated exposure, stable audience definition, or signal capture that informs decisions. What we know now is that building a product line means preventing recurrence of the same confusion every quarter. When our promotion does not return clear awareness and interest signals cycle after cycle, our problem-solving skill has nothing solid to work with. Organization shows up here as one thing being true at all times. Each cycle's awareness and interest signals can be observed and compared without extra explanation. When those signals live in scattered places or only in memory, decisions drift back into opinion and urgency. What we learned is that progress has to be visible across months for an end-of-year goal to be real, because time passes whether patterns are tracked or not. A single source of truth matters only because it keeps the loop intact across cycles and prevents us from rewriting history after every push. What we know now is that repeatable promotion cycles plus visible signals are what let us stack one course into two courses into a line with confidence. When visibility breaks and comparability breaks, the loop fails quietly and our product line stays stuck at subject. A promotion loop only stays real when the same audience keeps seeing the offer and the signals land in one place you can read. If past promo notes, email drafts, and post copy get converted into sources, that material can sit together as the record of what went out each cycle. In cases where those sources get rolled up into one note source and mapped, the topics and angles that keep showing up become visible without digging through old files. That is one way the next promo and the next ad onto the line can be chosen off what is already showing up. This is how we close the loop. There you have it, and I will see you in another video.